Katie Price. The Pricey. This woman is the definition of resilience. I have never seen a celebrity go through as much as Katie Price has and continue to rise and rise and rise again. Unbelievable. I have watched her from when I was young, In the Jungle, her and Pete, Mucky Mansion. Listen, Katie Price, I've always watched her and I've always thought, what a courageous woman, what a strong woman, you know, because she's had a very varied life, haven't we all? You know, if we all had cameras and microphones on our lives, I'm sure some of us wouldn't be too far from the same, if not a lot worse. So she has been very vulnerable and she has opened her life to the public and openly spoke about all of her trials and tribulations. And when I watched the Louis Theroux interview with Katie Price on Louis' podcast, this led me to create this video today titled Self-Love. What is self-love? Good question. Some people might think self-love, you know, it's if you love yourself, if you're proud of yourself, if you're like, yeah, I love myself and, you know, but you've got loads of different types of self-love and you've got loads of different definitions and interpretations of what self-love is. In my view, you've got two types of self-love. You've got the egotistical side, where it's like, you know, I love myself, I've got all these nice things, look at me, woo, 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 And then you've got the other type of self-love on a soul level, where you're kind to yourself, where you take time for yourself, you talk to yourself in a positive way, you're not too harsh on yourself, you've got a positive view of yourself, self-care, taking time out to look after yourself. There's loads of different definitions of what self-love is, but really, ultimately, it's how you view yourself. Do you love yourself regardless of all of the mistakes that you make? Do you love yourself regardless of what the outside world is saying to you? Do you love yourself on a deeper level? Can you block out the noise and can you understand who you are on a deeper level? In order to love yourself, you've got to know thyself. Because if you don't know yourself, hey, you don't know what is this? You know, who are you? Who are you besides being a mom, being a parent, being a teacher, being a doctor, your job role, your this, your that? Who are you besides all of that? So Katie made this comment on Louis' podcast.
But I've never looked in the mirror and thought, oh, I'm pretty and whatever. And when people show me old pictures, I'm like, oof.
But a very beautiful
See, I don't think
woman
so. Isn't that mad?
Girl.
If there's something to tweak, I'd do it. But
now, we've all looked in the mirror sometimes and thought, damn, it's not a good day today. But I could tell when she was saying it, she meant it. And this is what I'm talking about, the belief systems that we have of ourselves. You know, if we have these belief systems or we don't look in the mirror and like what we see, it really starts from there. And how we feel about ourselves when we look in the mirror or, you know, any time it follows through in everything that we do in life. There's so many different factors to what shape our outlook on ourselves. There's loads, and Katie mentions a lot of these in the interview.
You've spoken frequently about issues that you had or things you went through as a much younger person.
Yeah.
Is it worth, because clearly people who listen will be curious about...
I mean, when I was raped at 7 in a park.
Well, that's one of them.
So I knew you was coming there.
Well, there were other things as well.
Yeah, I've been abused, raped.
They never caught the bloke who did it, right?
No.
But also worth saying that your biological dad split from your mum...
When I was 3.
When you were 3?
Yeah.
Your stepdad, Paul, entered the picture when you were how old?
3.
about
He was
around
my
the same
dad's
time.
friend,
But
yeah.
either way, it must have been weird. It will have had some effect on you, I would have thought.
There's not one complaint I could have about my childhood, apart from my mum and dad were quite protective, but I think that's because of what's happened to me as a kid, you know, getting raped at 7 and all of this.
She suffered abuse as a young child at the age of 7 years old. That's going to have a huge impact on her outlook and how she views herself, 100%. And her parents, you know, she didn't have her parents split up when she was quite young. She didn't have her biological father around, and that will obviously have an impact as well. Your parents splitting up is going to have a huge impact on your confidence and a lot of how you view yourself. There's going to be so much there. So in order for somebody to say what Katie said, there's obviously going to be a lot more that we don't know as well, that shape how we see ourselves and what we think about ourselves. You've also got friends that can have an influence as well. Family, teachers. There's so many influences that shape how we view ourselves. And especially when you're young, you know, you hear about when people get bullied and somebody says something to that person when they were very young and then they still remember it as an adult. You know, these things stay with us, and traumatic events, words, all of that contributes to how we view ourselves and how we act out our everyday life. It contributes towards the decisions that we make, but it also makes us understand why we make the certain decisions that we make. Questioning why am I saying this about myself is the first place to start. Why do I have this belief of myself? Why do I look in the mirror and think, I don't like that person, or I don't like what I see? You know, getting to the root of that and discovering that these belief systems are false. These belief systems that you have about yourself aren't true. And it takes time for you to develop that positive talk and those positive affirmations to then understand who you truly are at the core, which is a beautiful human being that has been through experiences, that has been through challenges, that has been through traumas, but you've rose time and time and time and time again. That is amazing. The resilience, the courage and the strength that took is unbelievable. So all of these contributing factors are going to shape how we think about ourselves and shape how we think about the world. And as I've grown older, I've realized that questioning all of those belief systems and all of the experiences and all of the past knowledge and all of the things that I used to think, used to do, used to be, you know, questioning those and really saying to myself, is this who I truly am? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Why do I think like this? Why do I think like that? Exploring these belief systems is the first step to create change. She also mentions in the video that she likes to be in control, and she was talking about, I'll show you the clip.
Kate, when I used to do men's magazines, it's like they can look at me but they can't touch me. Does that make sense? I used to say, is that why I love it? Like I can get my kid to be like, yeah, you can look at me guys, but you can't touch me. More probably a power thing, yeah. That's the control I had, because I don't know, because I was never in control of relationships.
But the bigger point, I think, was that
I've just had so many traumatic things, like, and the men thing, like, maybe it has had an effect, because there was a lot of incidents when I was younger, but it still hasn't. Well, I've had shit relationships, but I'm still here sitting to tell the tale. I've still got a big grin on my face.
I actually understand that because of the traumatic experiences that she's had. You know, she wants to put herself in the power position. She doesn't want anybody else to be in control of her life. She doesn't want anybody to have any influence on anything. You know, she does what she wants to do, and she wants to pose topless, and she doesn't want to do nudes. And I get that. You know, it's, people might say, well, why would you do this and you wouldn't do that? Because it's her choice to. She's in control. She's She's like, well, yeah, I want to do that, but I don't want to do this. You know, you can look, you can't touch. Empowering, because you get to decide what you do. The traumatic experiences would have contributed to that lack of control, because things are going to happen in life that are beyond our control, that are beyond our reach. We're not able to control things, and that can be very frustrating because things are happening, traumatic events, traumatic experiences, this is happening, and you're just flowing. You're just like, well, what's going on? This is just wild. Had this relationship and that relationship, this guy's cheated on her, that guy's cheated, and everything is just like, whoa, she's not in control of any of it. I love Katie and her honesty, and she did say that her downfall has always been the men that she's chose.
It's my downfall. I've had to learn all this in therapy, is men. Because I jump from one to the other to the other. It's like I need that neediness, and then I end up in a toxic relationship, narcissist or gaslighting.
I've always been someone who craves love from men.
See?
And I've never felt happy unless I've been in a relationship.
She did also mention something in the interview, and she said, well, I've always gone for guys like this, like this, like this. But really what's happened is she's met somebody. This is Katie. And this is the guy, right? Really, she's always met guys that are on the same vibrational level as her. So, this is the man. So, she's always met somebody on the same vibrational level as her. So really, because Kate had this sort of idea about herself, you know, not liking herself when she looked in the mirror, and she just wasn't in that mind frame of really loving herself on a soul level, she was meeting people that were equally the same. So this is really why it never really worked out. Because if you've got two people not loving themselves, both trying to find love, they're never going to find it, really. There's nothing there. You can only meet somebody that's on the same level vibrationally as you. Everybody that you meet that you attract in some way is on the same vibration level as you. And I'll tell you something, Katie has been through it all, but when she told this story about her best friend of 24 years having an affair with her fella, and she caught them on the beach. Oh!
I remember as soon as I met Kieran, he started an affair with my best friend of 25 years, 3 months in, and I was pregnant. There was a table full of people and they pointed towards the sea. Said, oh, we saw him walk that way. And I just knew before I got there. And I remember walking to the beach, you know when they stack sunbeds up, and I could see two figures on it, and I stood there, I got close enough to like how I am with you here, for about 30 seconds, watching them kissing. He had his pants down. She was sucking him off, basically. It's horrible for me to talk about because I've had therapy for it, but it felt like to me that two people have been murdered, like murdered. Because when you go through something traumatic, you either turn to your husband or your best friend. But it was them two who had betrayed me that like you would not believe.
Can you imagine that? After everything that she's been through, the betrayal, the deception, 24 years, and you go to the beach and you see your best friend with your fella's pickle in her mouth. You know what I mean? Deception at its finest. Imagine that. Katie's described it as it's like two people had been murdered. It was over from there. It was over. All of these experiences in her life are contributing to that perspective of herself. You know, loyalty gone. Trust gone. I mean, that's a lot to handle. A lot. But, in my opinion, it was a blessing in disguise because that friend was very, very jealous. And unfortunately, jealousy doesn't work in a friendship or a relationship. I do think it happened for a very good reason, because if it didn't happen, that friend might have been round for a very long time. So her whole reality is like, who do I even trust? What do I even do? Like everything's just gone. What's important to remember is outside events should have no impact on how we view ourselves. Zero. There's going to be lots of things that happen outside of ourselves that we cannot control. I'll give you an example. If I go on a date and the guy says he doesn't like me, him saying that he doesn't like me has no reflection on who I am. Some people like prawn and cocktail crisps. Some people don't. Some people like salt and vinegar. Some people like barbecue. Some people like toast. Others like crumpets. Do you see where I'm going with it? It's like somebody doesn't like you or doesn't look at you and say you are the best thing since sliced bread. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really say anything about me. It says what he thinks about me, which is absolutely fine. People are free to not like what they want. People are free to like what they want. People are free to not like this and not like that. And if you really like somebody and you think, well, yeah, but I want him to like me though, we have to accept that not everyone's going to like us, and we shouldn't try to change to make them like us neither. We are who we are. If we try to change to make that person like us, then, you know, the veil is going to fall at some point. We can't always keep up the facade. We're not always going to be able to keep up, you know, this falsified package that we've sorted out because I want him to like me, so I'm going to do this, and this. It's never going to work, you know, and it's not authentic. It's going to break down eventually. Yes, you've got to wait a bit longer to find somebody that's mutually, but so what? Hey, you know, life is long. Sometimes you got to ride the rough with the smooth, man. And I think that's what it's about as well. It's about accepting that not everyone's going to like you. It really starts by changing how we view ourselves. So once we've changed how we view ourselves, then we will start to attract the right person. When you love yourself, you will then start to attract people that equally love themselves as well. Be who you want. Be who you want. You can't have what you're not. And don't let your experiences define you. Don't let your experiences define you, because we're all here to learn. We're all here to learn a bit of this, learn a bit of that, go through this, go through that, get over that, get over this. Hey. So don't let the experience define you. Don't let the experience consume you. Don't let it drag you in and personalize the experience. Take what you need from it, learn from what you need from it, and then keep moving forward. Because if you let those experiences define you, that's when you're starting to shape your character and your personality, and then you will define yourself in this way, and then this is what this is, and then you'll start to attract people that are on that same sort of definite, you know, you are not your experiences. You are more than what you've been through. You are more than that challenge. You are more than that event, that happening, this happening, that. You are more than that. Way more. Oh, I've got a mic here. Way more. A little PSA. You are loved regardless of the choices that you make. Right or wrong, you are deeply loved. Sometimes we make choices that aren't always in alignment with our true nature, with our true self. And that's okay, because we're here to make mistakes. We're here to this and rough and tumble and we're here to do all of that. Come on, this is life. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes choices that don't necessarily serve the highest good. It's what it's all about. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't beat yourself up and go, so what? As long as you learn and you grow from the experience, winning. And even if you don't learn, and you keep on making the same mistakes. And this is why when we don't learn from the mistakes, it keeps on happening again and again and again until we do, until we get the message, until we can't cope with the pain and the suffering anymore. It just, boom, no, that's it. I'm done. For Katie, that was her going into the psychiatric ward. Sometimes, again, these things happen and we think, oh my God, why? But she seems like she's on a better path now, and she's clearer about what it is she wants, where she's going, what she's doing. Like, okay, things happen outside of our control that we can't always foresee. It's like driving down the same road time and time again, and there's a block here, but we continue to drive down that road. So we continue to drive down it on the first day, we drive down, block. Second day, drive down it, it's still blocked. How many times is it going to take you to turn around and take a different route? For me, I'm very impatient, so I'll probably do 1, 2, I'm off at 3, yeah? I'm not doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah? The blockage is going to be, because you don't know how long that's going to take for them to unblock that road. You don't know how long it's going to take, if it even happens at all. I'm off at 3, yeah? What I love the most is when Katie finished with this.
I can't blame anyone because I made them choices. And I am to blame for a lot of it, through my choices, my reactions, my decisions. But I've never harmed anyone. I'm a good parent, I'm a good person, I'm professional, I turn up for work.
She owns her choices. She's just like, look, I made those choices. I don't blame anybody else for the choices that I made. And that's what I love about this interview, is the accountability that she takes. She doesn't go through all of this and go, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. Obviously that those are contributing factors, but she takes responsibility for it. She's just like, I made these choices. I chose to stay with him. I chose to this, and there's obviously things that happened that were completely outside of her control, but she takes responsibility and accountability for the choices that she made. And that's why I love Katie Price. Absolutely brilliant. The pricey. And when we start to look inward and realize that we are in control of those choices, we are in control of those choices, and to make a change, we all have the power to change just by making different choices and understanding who you are on a deeper level, not letting those experiences define you as a person, understanding that on a soul level, regardless of all of the things that you've been through, all of the things that have happened, all of the things that you've been told, all of the things that the world has said and this person has said and how that person has treated you and what's happened over here, it's not who you are. Do not let your experiences define who you are. You are loved deeply, unconditionally. Self-love is the best love. Not from anybody else. It all starts with yourself. When you start to love yourself, everything else around will be a reflection of that. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. A little self-love video there. Hey! If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I hope you all have a great Christmas. I love you all. Merry Christmas and a Happy New